Okay, so Nikita Bier, who is the head of product at X, he has just updated the algorithm. This is the open source algorithm that is used to determine whether your post goes viral or not. Like I said, this is open source. You can find it at github.com/twitter/the-algorithm. And they have a README here that kind of breaks down all the different components, has this chart here, this graph. But the reason why I'm making this video is because this is still quite confusing. What I've done is I've dug into this repo, into this code, and I have created these two guides right here and right here. Okay, so let's get right into it. First, let's break down these key ranking factors. These are the things that are going to determine whether your post goes viral or not, whether it's going to show on my feed or not. And you have to think of it from two perspectives, right? There's the person that makes the post, and then there's the person that receives the post. Okay, and so these two things are connected, of course, but this is the guide to how it is determined whether my post will show on your feed or not. First one is, does my post have likes, retweets, replies, clicks, video watch time, and bookmarks? And so this is the file I found that kind of covers the weights for this. You can see here, these are the different weightings. So you get 20 points if a person replies to it, 15 points if a person retweets it. I'm scroll down here. So 20 for reply, 15 for retweet, 15 for quote, 10 for a like, 5 for bookmark, 5 for share. So again, if on your feed, if my post has more likes, then it's more likely to be shown. There's also a negative signal penalty. So this is kind of the inverse of that, right? So not interested. If my tweet is on a bunch of people's feeds and they're just scrolling right by and they don't like it, they don't look at it, well then I'm going to get a negative boost. Same thing applies to things like if they report it, -20, if they block my account, -15, if they mute the tweet, -15, not interested, -10. Okay, so those are the engagement signals. Those are the kind of the traditional things that make sense, the things that you would assume would help to boost your tweet. There's also a very heavy weighting added to the relationship between you and the poster. And so things like follow status, interaction history, reputation. Let me pause for a second. Here we go. So let's actually make this bigger because I think this chart is important. So the relationship you have with that poster and that tweet, it has different types of kind of circles, right? So trusted circle multiplier, this is kind of if they know you're associated, if you're directly following. This one is if the person has a verified account, it gives a boost. So a verified account, blue check, let's see, owns tweet multiplier. Okay, so if this is a self-tweeted boost, okay, so it gives you different boosts based on kind of your relationship with the poster. There's also a negative penalty, right? So -10 points for out-of-network reply. So this is like some random person from a random network replies on your tweet. For some reason, you get a negative penalty for that. I'm not really sure why, but anyways, it's important to note. Okay, let's make this window smaller again. Next thing that is important is the content quality. Let me pause for a second and find that. Actually, before we move on to content quality, let's stay on author for a second because there's some other things that I didn't mention. One thing that's important is it does give a diversity rescoring, which means, like for example, recently there was some sort of political killing, Charlie Kirk, really sad. But the problem was that on that day, essentially everything in the thread was about Charlie Kirk. And so it does actually have a filter that tries to mix up the type of content you're seeing so you don't just get spammed the same video. Creator upranking. Okay, here we go. So now to content quality, recency. So one thing that's super important about your tweet is it recent, right? Did I post it 5 minutes ago? Did I post it 30 minutes ago? Did I post it 30 hours ago? Okay, and of course, the newer it is, the more boost it's gonna get. And it has like a time decay. So essentially the older it gets, the less views it gets. With one exception, that if your tweet is continuing to get kind of likes and retweets, then it extends this window. You can see here the retweet count, max retweet, recency score. So it's actually extending this window if your tweet is still trending. And the final one here is, I've called it social proof, but essentially this means like, is it a good tweet or not, right? And this is kind of, this is less important than these other things. So the engagement signals, author relationship, the timing, content quality, these are all super important. The social proof is important, but less important. These actually don't give you points, they give you boosts. Okay, so for example, one type of boost would be, do you have media? Let's make this a little bit bigger. So you can see that if you have an image, if you have video, if you have kind of a trending hashtag, it will actually give your tweet a boost. And like it says here, the exact amount of boost depends on the configuration. When it says configuration, it's talking about things like this. So is it a high quality video? Is it obviously generated by AI? Is the aspect ratio correct? Is the duration long? Like if it's a very short video, then it's going to give you a smaller boost. A longer video is going to give you a higher boost. Media features. Let's see. So let me just pause a second and find the important parts. Okay, here we go. This is what I was looking for. So essentially it's checking these things, right? Do you have multiple media? The more images you have, slightly more boost. Okay, again, the duration of the video is important. If it's like a 1 second video, then it's going to give you kind of like a negative boost. Yeah, the aspect ratio and all this stuff. Okay, and then I'm going to finish this video just by reviewing the kind of content strategy tips. So these things align with what I just talked about in terms of getting the correct scores and the correct boosts. So again, one of the most important things is you need to post when your audience is active. This is because of that kind of time decay, right? So think about your followers, think about when they're going to be using Twitter and try to post in that time window so that a lot of people see it. People that are going to see it are the actual ones that are going to want to like it. So very, very important. The other one too is, like I said, if you add visuals, then you do get a small boost, with the exception that if these videos, or if this media is low quality, then you will get a negative boost. So make sure if you're going to put a picture, make sure it's a good picture. The next one is, so again, reply. Remember, the most important thing here are likes, replies, retweets, bookmarks, all that stuff. So you're going to want to be replying to questions. You're going to want to making sure that the right people are seeing this and the right people are liking this. The other thing that, again, a small boost is this kind of news, booster. And so that has relevant hashtags, things that are kind of trending at that moment. The other thing is threads, again, because one of the most important things is time spent on tweet. And so if you have a thread, they're spending more time, more likely to get boosted. Also to have a good bio. So one of the things it's going to be recording is, okay, if they look at your tweet, do they first look at your bio information and then do they actually click onto your profile? So that's also important. Remember to avoid penalties, right? So don't have like a clickbaity type post. If you have a controversial topic, make sure that it's actually of substance, because if a person if a person reports your tweet, then you're going to lose points there. Sorry, let me just fix this viewing. Again, if you don't post too much, so quality over quantity. Oh, that reminds me, let's actually finish up this video with this post here from Nikita Bier. He said, if you want to get rich on X, it isn't going to be through creator revenue or meme coins. Instead, think of one subject matter that you know more than anyone else in the world. It could be anything: plumbing, menswear, Indian food, furniture, whatever. Post one unexpected insight you picked from your experience in that area. Keep it under 5 sentences. Do this every day for 6 months. Okay, and I wanted to highlight this sentence because this is essentially everything I talked in a nutshell, right? So unexpected insight, right? So this is going to be something that your audience, right? So if your audience is plumbing, then they all are interested in plumbing. If you have a single unexpected insight, then they're going to spend more time on that post, maybe look at the comments. Keep it under 5 sentences, right? So it's much more clear so they can understand it, and do this every day for 6 months. Like I said, the recency, the timing of it, very, very important. So thank you for watching the video. I hope you liked it. If you want me to share these 2 files, please comment in this video and I will make it available for people to look at. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And also, if you want to support the channel, please click my referral link to What Exchange. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.